yeah, there you go.
Hi again, thanks for taking my call, and I hope you take more Zoom calls on the platform, because you seem to always neglect the people that are waiting, and that hasn't been discussed. However, I just want to know what in the cult is going on with the LAPD, because on Sunday, there was an event, a permanent event for filming within the cult of Scientology, had a film permit, and they were on the street at like 4 in the morning, and they thought they owned the whole neighborhood. And they were caught trying to take over sidewalks where the permit said it was only for the streets. And one person was on the sidewalk telling them that they asking to see the permit, which they wouldn't provide the permit for them to see the permit. And then when they wouldn't get off the sidewalk because that's a public sidewalk, the officer that was off duty happened to push that person. Her name is Laura FM. She was pushed by an off-duty police officer, and they think that they work for a cult. And that's inappropriate. They had people on the street that were actors not getting any breaks for 3 hours, standing in unnatural positions for extended periods of time with no water, food, or bathroom breaks. It's absolutely disgusting that you stand by a cult, a child trafficking cult, that I called you out on last week because I addressed you as enablers of a cult, and that you're just going along with the program. You need to stop giving them permits to abuse people. They do not belong on the street doing these events if they are not going to follow the permit and not show the permit. And they need to follow the law. And you need to get these permits on the internet. So when people see what's going on and you don't produce the permit, and they can't even look up what's going on. It's absolute sheer abuse. And I said this before to you guys, that there are cults that are being busted all over the country. So many true crime channels are covering them. But it's going to be time is coming when you're going to be covered on these channels more and more about your abusive collaboration with these crimes and helping them cover up the crimes that they are committing in the walls of the Blue Building, in the walls of the Celebrity Center, and also in the walls of the Testing Center on Hollywood Boulevard, where people happen to get locked in when they go in, they feel like they can't leave. There has to be a way that anybody could report to you and not feel afraid to report to you, because they know that you go along with all the crimes. And that's all I have to say. Bye.
Great job, Amy. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I want to start off by saying that there's two people, and I know I can't even file any kind of claim, but Kirsten Peterson and Kendrick Moxon are trying their hardest to discourage me from bringing the truth about what's going on with Scientology and to deal with the issues of victimization of both former and current members. As much as they're trying, I'm not going anywhere at this point, but I am putting those names out there: Kendrick Moxon and Kirsten Peterson. And I want to talk about a little bit about the thing that happened on Sunday about them getting a film permit. I know it sounds like, why is this a police matter? But it's only because LAPD is involved with the Film LA permits and with the supplying police officers. They use their slave wage laborers, okay, that these people make, if they're lucky, $47 a week. They work over 100 hours a week. And they were asked to stand frozen on a street for 4 hours while they were allegedly filming, although nobody really saw anyone filming. No breaks, no going to the bathroom, no water, nothing. Okay, this to me, I mean, if they needed to film that scene, they could probably have done that in maybe in a half hour to an hour. What's the point in having these people do that? For me, it seems like maybe punishment for them. I don't know. A lot of people, and they have their own prison system. They have their own punishment system. But it's disgusting, and it's not just a labor issue, it's a police issue, because these are the things we're bringing to you, sir. And, and there are officers still that are not fully trained in how permits work and how to deal with it. And because Scientology is very good at convincing LAPD, the officers on the beat, what their version of truth is. And it has to stop. And then Saturday, this coming Saturday, they're going to be having another event, which now they're trying to remove the wording that they're involved, but they are involved with the Faith in Blue event. Like I said, I have no problems with the Faith in Blue event. I actually am someone that appreciates community. I believe in community policing, trying to get the community. I know we have some difference of opinions, and that's okay. But that's just my opinion. But I don't want to see someone the people who are terrorizing people who are speaking up, people who are have so many victims lined up, hundreds of them have come forward with the abuses they endured as children and adults. And a lot of people the slave wages that are going on today, seniors that are not being taken care of today, the health issues not being taken care of today, have anything to do with LAPD or anything to do with the city. And it's really serious. And so I am putting it on notice that I am starting to fear for my safety and life with these people, but I'm going to keep speaking. Thank you.
Next is Linda N.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, what items would you like to speak on?
All items, please.
Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. Commissioners, Chief, OIG, I bring up Charlie Kirk. He was assassinated for creating a place for dialogue and speaking his mind. I bring this up for what it represents to each of us coming to report the abuses and crimes of Scientology. The threat is not just to people holding events. We brave talking, just like Audit was just saying, about these abuses in public to not only bring awareness, but to hopefully affect change. I remind you of the fair gaming that LAPD suffered through the Masterson's trial. Charlie Kirk's assassination is an example of the level of threats we are seeing. Let me tell you of a person here in LA that is inciting violence, domestic terrorism through rhetoric and lies. This influencer talked for days on his podcast that a critic of Scientology, hint hint, Audit LA, should be drugged by her hair out of her wheelchair and her throat sliced. That same person is calling for another to commit suicide and is using the judicial system to intimidate and harass her. It's all spurred on by Scientology. The city made a deal quite a few years ago with Scientology. Unfortunately, when you make a deal with the devil, there's always a price to pay. The handshake was done years ago, way before your times, and now you are seeing the fallout. Thousands of families, thousands of children are ruined because of it. To remind you, 22% of the children that grew up in Scientology are no longer with us because of suicide or tragic death. The children are the collateral damage. We are asking that you sever your relationship with the family-destroying, child-abusing cult. Take them off your CPAPs and turn your ears away from their influences. This is not hate speech. I have the right and a responsibility to warn you of danger. I am pleased seeing that the chief has assessed the information, understanding the monster that has been living in your house and abusing children is hiding and living among you. But more needs to be done. Thank you, and I yield back my time.
Great job, Mona.
Next we have Michael Abraham.
Starting about 2 months ago, someone set up barricades in the hallway outside the city council chamber. That is supposed to be a publicly accessible area, so I'm guessing that one of the council members claimed that he or she felt threatened, which is absurd, especially in a secure building like City Hall. But even if one of them legitimately did feel frightened for some reason, blocking the hallway is an unreasonable response. A less disruptive response would be for a police officer to escort the council member to the elevator. But that wouldn't solve the real problem, which is that the council members don't like their dainty ears being bothered with troubling facts. I don't know why the police went along with this illegal scheme to protect council members' tender sensibilities. I'm assuming it might be difficult for officers to say no to elected officials, but you need to let the council know that the police work for the law, not for officials and not for lawyers with fringe interpretations. The city council's failure to take modest steps to protect people from violence is causing real harm, and council members should expect to hear about it. Likewise, the failure of each member of this body to ask the governor for military-level police oversight is causing real harm. Nothing less can solve the horrific problems which are obvious to anyone who doesn't have his fingers in his ears. Thank you.
Great job,
Next
Michael.
we have Grace.